Now, as we move into this one, people, this might strike a nerve depending on what side of the gate you stand on. But this Rodney Hinton Jr. story, I'll give y'all my opinions and feedback in a second. I have some, I have a position on both sides of the gate that I want to chop with y'all. But let's catch up to speed. What happened? Why is this just circulating around the world and coming across everybody's desk? It's a very unfortunate story.
Here's what we know right now about Rodney Hinton Jr.'s movements on Friday. A Cincinnati police detective said on May 2nd, shortly after 9:30 that morning, Rodney Hinton Jr., along with family, viewed body camera footage of a Cincinnati police officer shooting and killing his 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton, the day before. Police say officers found Ryan and 3 other young men in a stolen Kia. When police arrived, 4 men ran. Police ran after them, and officers say Ryan had a gun, and it was pointed toward an officer who shot him twice, killing him. The footage, which is a bit blurry at times, shows the shooting and Ryan falling to the ground. Police then say after reviewing that body cam video shortly after 10:30 a.m., Rodney leaves Cincinnati Police's Criminal Investigation Sections Unit's parking lot. Police say he left this first time upset and unable to drive. Family members describe him as agitated. Witnesses tell police he went to a couple of different locations, then returned to the parking lot around 12:40 p.m. They say Hinton came back to pick up a car left behind, and then for a second time,
he actually left the parking lot, followed by some family members, and then a few minutes later returned to the parking lot at CIS, drove through the parking lot, and then left the parking lot again.
Now, authorities say that final exit occurred at 12:49 p.m. Just 11 minutes later, police say Hinton plowed right into Henderson, who was operating a traffic light at the intersection of Martin Luther King Drive and Burnett Woods. A detective on this case claims video footage shows Hinton first stopping in a left turn lane before increasing the car's speed.
The vehicle accelerated quickly directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing.
Cincinnati police have not yet identified that officer who shot and killed Hinton's son. Prosecutors say they believe that Rodney Hinton Jr. just, quote, ran over the first officer he saw. Jay Shakur, WCPO 9 News.
Ooh. Okay. Yo, there's footage of him now appearing in court. This is what's really going around, and what people is just like, yo, this man standing on business. It's an eye for an eye. But he's chin up, chest out, because if you take the life of a police officer, the camaraderie between that gang of blue, they say that any city you win, that's the biggest gang, the police force, right? They showed up in force for their lost brother, and they all are going to be there to mean mug, to give energy, to a degree threaten and impose their will on the defendant, right? Now he walks through this shit and he looks like yeah, who got a problem? He's in handcuffs. It's like he still want smoke with every officer that's there. Pete. Man. Oh, mugging. Check that again. Some of them are mugging him back. That one waved his head. There's another one too of I'm going to assume that these are either friends or relatives of the police officer that lost his life. And maybe a ruckus began with them, or could have been friends or family of the defendant, but there was a ruckus in the courthouse, and he still has the same energy during this clip as well, where he just like, whoever got smoke with me behind, what you think I'm here for, I'm here for it. Chest out, chin up. Like, watch his energy as well. It must be his lawyer trying to keep him calm. It must be his lawyer trying to tell him turn around and keep calm. Yeah, it's going up back there. Yeah, he's standing how he's standing.
Okay, so let's try to armchair quarterback what we believe is going on here right now. So Hinton was escorted by police from Claremont County into the courtroom right here. There's some sort of commotion right outside, with police officers then quickly escorting Hinton back out, likely for his own safety. His attorney remaining in the courtroom there with the judge. So this, of course, the man accused of hitting and killing that retired sheriff's deputy, making his no bond appearance. Okay, now we're listening outside.
So obviously words being exchanged right there
Words that we
between,
can't put on TV, so we need to kill the mic there for just a little bit.
right, but you're still taking a live look. So this is
Yeah.
just outside, kind of giving you a perspective here. This is just outside of room A. So this is down in the Hamilton County Courthouse there. You can see obviously a number of sheriff's deputies. They were there on Saturday lined up. They're there today lined up as well. And now at this point, obviously, you know, folks very emotional
Yeah, tensions
over
are
this
very
case.
high in this.
So they did have to remove Hinton at this point. And if you recall, Hinton actually, as we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, is being housed in the Claremont County Jail because of security reasons, because of these tensions that are likely, I mean, still occurring. This is a live look. This is not even recorded video. This is what we're looking at live. So obviously,
Wow. This is yeah, this is what do you expect? What do you expect? What type of energy do you expect? Lives lost on both sides of the gate. So let's go back to the footage first of the shooting of the young child. I believe they say he's 18 years old. We also got to remember, man, the way things go for shootings, as far as them being proper or not, for a police officer as well as us civilians, very different. Okay, no matter what state you're in, how lax the gun laws are or not, you're gonna face issues if you shoot somebody while they're fleeing, or if you shoot somebody when it can appear that your life isn't in danger, or if you shoot somebody in the back. Okay. You could be in Texas, a place where everybody feels like you could just kill a man on your lawn, call the cops, and then they'll just drag the body away and you won't even have to answer questions. Like, that's the perception of like Texas, right? But you go ahead and you shoot like somebody that's breaking into your house and then they're fleeing and they're running away from you, and you shoot them in the back. You're gonna do your day in court. You're gonna have your day in court. I won't say his full name. Shout out to my man. Actually, I think I talked about it on the stream, maybe like last year. He had somebody that was breaking into his car. He has a Bentley GT. Why it was parked in the driveway instead of a garage? We're still mad at you to this day about that. But he's sitting down in his kitchen with his little daughter. He looks out the window and there's somebody opening the door to his car. Now, he believes in the philosophy of leaving the door to his car unlocked because there's nothing in there, but it's a very expensive car. So he's like, I'll leave it unlocked because I would rather somebody go in there, open it, and look in and see if there's nothing going on instead of breaking the damn windows. This are his rules, right? Once again, you got a Bentley GT, put that shit in the fucking garage. But you know, he grabs his joint, and the person allegedly takes off and he lights that dude, right? Ring camera footage ends up in the hands of the authorities, and that was the fight that he had to have. Were you still in danger? Was this person fleeing or not, allegedly? And he had to go through a lengthy court process behind it, right? So now I'm just talking about the shooting itself before we get into all of this. That video footage that we saw, it looks like the kid is running away. Now, they showed a picture of a hammer on a floor. They're trying to allude to that was the 18-year-old's gun. I don't know if that was the 18-year-old's gun or not. Maybe it was. Maybe he tossed it. Maybe he dropped it. Maybe it's just on the floor on the area where he was shot. Or maybe it was placed. You know, you could YouTube that. You go on World Star right now or YouTube right now. Officers planting stuff on people, tossing drugs in their cars and putting guns. Like, it happens every day. So we're not gonna act like we know what that gun on the floor is about. Let the courts and the video footage and the investigation bring full clarity to that. Okay. But the footage that we have thus far, it looks like the child is running away. It looks like the child is running away. But that's why I talked about like civilians versus police. These police, we've seen it a lot of times where they are shooting people, you know, while they're retreating. And they're still being justified as nullifying the situation or nullifying danger. That won't be the case with civilians. Police, they get away with doing that a lot, right? Now, let investigations continue to show how much danger this police officer was in. From that clip, we don't really see it. We don't see it. right? So unfortunately, with some of the gray area that we have, what we're left with right now is a highly tense and emotional situation where all we get to do is say, another life taken that didn't have to be taken from a police officer. Now, I'm not the guy that goes to 10 when a police officer does it and then doesn't care when we do it to ourselves. It's not a cultural thing for me or not. It's just about a right or wrong thing to me. That's how I carry myself. Yeah, I mean, I tell the story all the time of when the King Von shooting happened. I know a lot of my peers in battle rap. I watched them on Twitter going crazy because the initial reports was that the cops did it. And they was all going crazy like they wanted to riot. And the moment that the footage came out, everybody realized it was another black man that did it on some gang shit. Nobody cared. The energy was nullified. Everybody was just cool then. But to me, it's about right and wrong. It's not about black, white, civilian, police officer. It's just about right and wrong. I don't want to see anybody unjustly or wrongfully lose their life. Period. That's me. All right. This footage still scares me though, because it looks like so far it is possible that it's going to deserve to be in that category. Said all what I just said of, yo, why did you shoot this young man? Why did you shoot this young man? Let's let that develop. Now let's come to the father. The reports in the timeline that we saw allegedly is breaking down that the father, he's got his car, he's driving around, and they're painting it as allegedly he drove over or ran into the first police officer that he saw in the street, which resulted in that particular police officer losing their life. There's a bunch of angles to this. The father angle to me is the most emotional. It's the toughest one to sift through. As a father, there's no restrictions to your actions behind your child. There's no restrictions. Your child is the only person, well, for many people in the world, that gets unconditional love. What is unconditional love between parent and child, for example? Unconditional love is you walking into the apartment of Jeffrey Dahmer, finding an acid bat with human remains in it, and then the father still sitting side by side with him in the courtroom for his trial. Unconditional. Not my baby. Yes, your baby. Unconditional. The child, you have a bond with your child that is unbreakable no matter what. They say the course of action is supposed to be for a parent to be buried before their child. No parent wants to bury their child. And I deem that as one of the examples of hell on earth. To have to bury your child, God forbid, for anybody in this world. I deem that as one of the examples of hell on earth. If you have to walk around with it in your soul that you buried your child, I can't fathom. And I sympathize infinite with that. I sympathize infinite with that, what that can do to a person. We talk about the red tunnel on this channel. That's it. That's it right there. There's another piece of this, though, which is people will fastly say an eye for an eye. And that's why I think a very immediate reaction to those clips of him walking, with his chin up and his chest out to the officers, everybody's like, yeah, he's standing on business. And he is. He is. But as a human being, we got to remember one aspect, people. Do you believe in an eye for eye for somebody that is not involved in the situation? For example, I can't get you, I'm going to get you next of kin. Two gang members, let's say a Blood and a Crip get into it, right? The Blood kills this Crip. And then there's other Crips now that want revenge. And the blood is now, he hit the bunkers. You can't find him nowhere. So then they go to the blood's address, his crib, shoot up the crib, and end up killing the mother. Or they purposefully kill the mother. Or how about his child? Can't get you, I'm gonna get your next of kin. I'm gonna chop at the ones that I could. Do you believe in that? Everybody is different. Rest in peace. A lot of people say that that's how Big L was lost, that somebody's trying to get at Big L's kin and took it out on him. These situations happen every day, unfortunately, right? Now, the Blood Crip gang situation, maybe to some people that's a little bit more justifiable because you feel like it's still gang members, right? And if the family isn't in the gang, repping the gang too, then you into something that you know the consequences of. But I'm talking about innocence, where this mother is not the one that's out on the street gang banging with her son, but she lost her life because you killed her because you couldn't get to the son. Some people don't believe in that. I'm one of them. Now, the reason why I paint that picture using gang retaliations of can't find you, I'm going to get you next of kin. If you're going to stand the way I stand in that position, then now you got to carry it and be consistent, which is the police officer that lost his life in this situation. Was he involved in the killing of that kid? Was he the shooter of that kid? Was he on the scene working that crime? Was he on that call? Did he pull up to that situation when the kid scattered? Did he have anything to do with that situation, or was he a police officer that happened to choose that profession, enforce the law? He was standing on the corner, maybe giving out parking tickets or doing whatever he was doing, and a car just veered into him and took his life. I'm trying to tell y'all that this is not an easy one for people that are human, that respect life, and that understand why you would have an issue if you were kin to that police officer that got ran over. And also, if you are this father right here that lost his child to something that feels unjust as per the evidence that the public is getting so far. So if you understand and respect both sides of the equation that I just broke down, you got to be careful. Maybe more development and more investigative work and more evidence comes out of this to show us more detail. And some people don't care because there's already lives lost. And I understand that too. It's hard to go back to, I don't care about no footage. Somebody lost their life already. I understand that. But in summary, there's a lot of people that's going to feel the way that this man, this father felt. And I don't take an issue with a father feeling the way he feels towards his son. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the actions are going to be justified of what the father did based on his target. If you're going to say eye for an eye, you want to know what the eye for an eye should be? It should be the people responsible and the people that are coming back for their revenge. Innocents, people that are not involved, civilians, leave them out of the equation. Leave civilians alone. Leave the family alone. Leave the mother alone. Leave the kids alone. Leave the brother and the sister alone. They got nothing to do with this shit. You know? And on this side, once again, burying your child is hell on earth. So I don't know what you expect in some of these equations. There's a lot of fathers that would have did what he did. It's a mixed bag, people. It's not easy to sift through, if you catch my drift.